There's a huge need for you to learn how to distinguish between your own thoughts and the thoughts of others. My name is Nara. Welcome back to my channel. Here we're discussing astrology, spirituality, and psychology, and this video is about Cancer or Moon in the third house. If you don't know your personal moon placement, the house, and the sign position, then I highly recommend you go and check out the astro.com, which I'm going to link down below. But for this, you do need to know your time of birth, calculate your birth chart, and even save it in a PDF for yourself for future reference, right? So third house is ruled by Gemini and is ruled by Mercury, right? The planet of communication, planet of learning, siblings. Third house is also travels, but it's travels not long distances like the ninth house, which is the opposite of the Sagittarian, but the opposite, right, is the third house travel, which is like running errands and stuff like that. People are also very creative, right? In their writing, they can write masterpieces, but they have to stay very like in tune with their emotions and not be bothered by other people's like communication, because it can happen. People may call them and they might be like taken out of their things, you know, whatever they were doing, because they get their subconscious mind is being impressed by other people's emotions, right? And especially when people have problems and they come to you with their problems, you may put your stuff away, okay? So try to stay objective. You guys are very sensitive to your environment, and you also have this ability to tap into the other people's minds and literally read other people's thoughts. Mood swings also contribute to this because you're very subjective, right? And whenever you are catching on to other people's thoughts, you are not able to distinguish between what's yours and what's not. You're not able to distinguish whether it's yours or not. You just like take it, right, and start thinking this way, feeling this way, the way other people did in your environment. So you're very sensitive to your environment. You analyze yourself, your mood swings, and understand, be mindful of this placement, because you are easily programmed by whatever you hear people talk about. And just be careful, because you know some things you don't want to program your mind with and store in your mind, because they can have detrimental effects in your reality. And I'm sure you want to manifest a good life for yourself, so be aware of this one. You are very connected to your siblings, and in order to solve any kind of trauma in your life, it is helpful to do it through siblings relationship, right? Because moon represents the past patterns. Moon is the opposite of sun. Sun is the Leo, expressing one's individuality, authenticity, and stuff like that, right? Which is looking into the future more so long term. Moon is the past conditioning, patterns of behavior, thoughts, feelings in the subconscious mind, something that's that we're not even conscious of on a daily basis. We're just like repeatedly done it so many times that now it's our program, right? So in the third house, the environment may really program you to a point where you're not even recognizing that you acquired these beliefs, and a lot of the times they're limiting, especially if you have hard aspects with moon. Actually, Cancer for this also would, you know, interpretation would be similar. Just as a side note, learning, these people are very subjective in their mind. Like swings actually dictate how they perceive reality. So let's say they wake up not in a good mood, they start thinking about their problems again, patterns, right? Moon. So, and their mood is already negative, and they go out, do things, and they perceive the world negatively. So their attitude is negative and their perception of reality is negative, which what it does, it creates that cycle of negative perception, and just your reality, your entire world is negative. You know, challenge yourself to be objective. Challenge yourself not to let your mood swings define how you feel, your actions, and all of that stuff. So this shows that you had a very friendly friend type a friendly relationship with your mother where you were like friends and it didn't even feel like she was your mother, signifies that you probably had to take care of other siblings in the family. Maybe you were the oldest one and you were put in a role of a mother where you had to take care of other people, siblings, brothers and sisters. But from a educational standpoint, because third house, remember, it's learning, it's education. So third house education, having moon, you're very sensitive and emotional about the things that you learn, and you care about the things that you learn. And there's often that, since moon represents the past, that passion to study the past, like history, maybe archaeology, I believe it's called, right? Anthropology, for instance, and stuff like that. It's just like wanting to understand where we come from, right? The womb, so mother. Or with this placement, if you have this placement, let me know what you had interest in learning. I'm very curious to hear that, but usually people are interested in these kinds of things. You have a very good relationship with your siblings if you have good aspects with moon, right? But if you have, let's say, oppositions or square with Pluto from the third house of moon, then that would, or even Mars, then that would represent that there's a competition within your family with your siblings, with other siblings. So obviously each chart is different, but just be aware of that. Third is a good connection with your siblings, especially like around like communication. So the communication with your siblings actually helps you to elevate yourself and feel emotionally more secure. And another thing, right, going back to education, these people love to learn things that provide some kind of emotional security. It can also be self-help, it can also be psychology, because maybe it provides you that ability to not react to things, not to be too controlling, and because you don't like how it makes you feel. Third is a pretty cool placement. And also, if you have moon in the third, then I want you to find your Cancer placement house, okay? And then connect those two houses together and interpret them together, because trust me, they will have a correlation. But if you have the opposite, which is Cancer in the third, but moon somewhere else, like in the 8th house, then you are going to interpret them together as well and see how they connect. Give me suggestions on the kind of videos you would like to see next, because it does really help me, because I will produce something that you actually want. Thank you all very much for watching. I really appreciate y'all, and I will see you in my next video. Bye y'all.